Hello guys, we're going to look at creating a CAD challenge, and the challenge today is going to be making little vases by using the sketch tool and extruding them, and then I'll show you how to hollow them out using the shell tool. So job number one is to open up Inventor. Now remember, it loads across the bottom a little white line along here, so bear with it, it can take a while to open. There we go. So what we're going to do is create a new part. So we click here on new part once it's loaded. Now to start sketching, we have to click on Start 2D Sketch, and then we're going to click on the base here. The first one we're going to do is just a plain square. So we're going to click on the rectangle tool, and then what we're going to do is type numbers in. So as you can see, when we drag, the numbers change. What I'm actually going to do is type in 60 millimeters, press the tab key, and then 60 millimeters the other way. And if you press enter, and then we'll zoom out, you can see this is set to 60 millimeters square. That's how big the base of our vase is going to be. Now to make it 3D, we've got to finish sketch and use the extrude tool. Now because we've only got one outline, it's automatically selected the square for us. We're going to type in that it's going to be 150 millimeters tall, so 15 centimeters, and click OK. There we go. So this is the basic outline of our vase. Now if you want, at this point, you can use the fillet tool to round the outside edges to make them a bit safer. That's only a very small fillet of 2 millimeters. I suggest you don't make them much bigger, otherwise it won't look like a square anymore. So if you click apply, you can see it automatically updates those on there. Okay, so at the moment it's just a solid block. We've got to turn it into a vase, and the way we do that is by using the shell tool. So it hollows out a cavity in the middle on the selected face. So we're going to select the top face because that's where we want to put bits in. And as you can see, it shows us a preview of what it's going to look like. Now when we 3D print, 1 millimeter is going to be too thin. It won't physically hold itself up at that thickness. It won't be able to make it, it won't be very strong. I want you to change it so that each time you do the shell tool on here, it's 3 millimeters thick. As you can see, it's changed the thickness up here. It's made it a little bit more substantial. Okay, so that's number one. So File, Save As. Now, I've already made a folder called Extruded Vases in my area. I suggest you do the same in your technology folder. I'm going to call this one Square because it's my square vase. There we go, and you can see down here it's changed the name of this to Square, so I've got that safe. So that's number one. The second one we're going to make, so File, New, and then up here, if you see it says Part, we're going to create a new part. You want to be on the standard IPT. There we go. Look at the bottom, you can see your square one is still there, and then there's this blank one we're going to work on now. So start a sketch on the bottom, and we're going to make a circular vase. So this has only got one dimension, so you just type 60 millimeters and then press enter. Finish the sketch, and we're going to extrude it to make it 3D. So 150 millimeters tall, remember? And then we need to zoom out so that we can shell this top bit. So shell, click the top surface, and remember to make it 3 millimeters thick. Okay, so file, save as, circle. So we've got a square and a circle. So file, new part, and we're going to start a sketch. And the next basic shape we're going to do is a polygon. So this one's going to be 6 sides, which is your hexagon. You can type a different number of sides in here, I don't mind. You could do 8 and turn it into an octagon, or 5 to do a pentagon. It comes out like that, look. So don't worry about the size right this second. You're going to click randomly, and then we'll use this dimension tool to set the size. So you want to pick the 2 furthest apart points. So we're going to click on that point, and then we're going to click on this side. And if you sort of hover without clicking, you can see it's measuring from the furthest points apart. So click over in the space, and then we can type in 60 millimeters to set the size. Finish sketch. Same as before. So extrude to 150. Make sure your shell is 3 millimeters. And then file, save as, pentagon. Cool. Those are our 3 basic shapes so far. So I'm going to show you 2 more ways of making a shape like this without actually using the ready-made shape tools. So file, new. There we go. Now what I want you to do is to use the rectangle tool to create an outline. So all this is going to do is show us how big we're allowed to draw inside. So this is like the outside edges of your paper, sort of. The first one we're going to do is one with just a straight line. So click on the line tool, and I'm just going to click completely randomly and then join it back up by clicking where it's gone green, look. So if you wriggle around, can you see the green circle? That's going to join it all up. So right click and OK. Now what we need to do is get rid of the lines that are on the outside edges that we don't want anymore. So if I show you the trim tool, we'll get rid of the ones on the bit we've drawn first. Right, so that's all the outside bits of the part we've drawn. Now to make it a solid shape, we need to get rid of these outside bits too. Now if I show you chopping here, it can change your shape. So what you need to do instead, if I undo that, so if we click OK, you want to left click on the dimension and then press delete on your keyboard. Now it won't zap those lines up to the edge to make sure it's the right size, it will just trim without misbehaving, look. So get all the outside edges off. There we go. So that is one solid shape. And Extrude that the same as we've done the other bits. 3mm, done. Now that is one very random shape. So we'll call him random. Okay, there is one more random shape we're going to make like this, but we're going to do it with curved edges instead of straight ones. So set up your outline again, 60 by 60. Zoom so we can see it. Okay, so to get the curvy line tool, you press the down arrow here and go down to spline. Now this one, as you can see, when I click, it makes curved lines, which is very fun to play with. And then you can click back on your other line to join that shape up. So right click OK, and then select and press delete on your keyboard for the other bits. Okay. There we go, so that is your random curved one and a random straight one. So File, Save As. There we go. So across the bottom you can now see that we've got 5. So evidence those and put them onto your OneNote area that is set up for your vase evidence, and then I'm going to show you the next one.